Hi everyone, and welcome to the part 3 of these tutorials on how to solve this math pay challenge of ALC 4.0. So let's start with the step 1. Create a flag if valid function just after format as money function. So I just have to siege my format as money function, and just after it I have to create this flag if invalid function with the two parameters asked field and is valid. You have to name your parameters just as it is asked in the instruction in order to not have issue with something you don't create the flag if invalid as it is asked, because you can create the flag if invalid function but not naming the parameter just like that, and grad can be rude with you. So just make sure to name it the most closely as it is asked in the instruction. So we can continue. If is valid is true, it should remove the is invalid class from field. Otherwise, it should add it to field. So I just have to check if is valid is true. If it is true, I just have to remove the is invalid class from its class list. And if it is false, I just have to add is invalid class to its class list. And this is my flag if invalid function. Just after flag if invalid function, create a expiry date format is valid function, which takes a field parameter representing the card expiry date field. So I just have to create this function like this with this parameter name field. Then it should return true if the field's value comply with the mm/yy format. Otherwise, it should return false. So I have to be sure that it just respect this format. You can do it in many ways. The most efficient but not easiest way to do it is by using regular expression. So here I just use regular expression, saying that take my string and verify if I have 2 digits, then a slash, then 2 digits. You may notice that this can accept a false date because I can just put 99/99 and it will be true. So if you are working on a real project, you have to pay attention on this kind of thing. You know, here in grad this will just pass, but if you put code like this in production, you will have serious issue. Next, with the above utility function out of the way, go back to the validate card expiry date function. This should return true if the value provided match the mm/yy format. Int delegate to expiry format is valid, so you don't have to recode it, just use this function. And if the date is in the future, in either case it should use the flag if invalid function to mark the field as valid or not. It then has to return true or false depending on if the validation requirements are met or not. So I just have to go to my validate card expiry function, just yeah. Okay, I just have to grab this field which is inside data ccn4 is its second input. Then I have two conditions to verify. The first one is to verify if the expiry date format is valid. So I just have to call this function passing it this field. The second one is to verify if the provided date is in the future. Here what I did is just that I take this date provided to me by the user consisting to the month and the year. I just take it and I just construct a complete date with it, with day, month and year. And I will compare this date with the actual date. If this date is greater than the actual date, I know that it is in the future and it met my requirement. The second one is to verify if the provided date is in the future. As I know that the provided date consists just in the month and the year, I just have to construct a complete date with it consisting to the month first, then to the first of the month, then the year. And if this date is greater than the date of the day, here with new date, I know that this date fulfill all my requirements. So I have to flag if invalid as true and return true. And if it's not fulfills all my requirements, I just have to flag if invalid as false and return false. And I have finished with my validate card expiry date. Now to the validate card holder name function. That Recall that his placeholder already suggests the required format, which is name surname, two names separated by space. Each name should be at least 3 characters long. It should use the flag if invalid function to mark the field as valid or not, and then return true or false depending on if the validating requirements are met or not. Now to the validate card holder name function. Recall that his placeholder already suggests the required format, which is name surname. Two names separate by space. Each name should be at least 3 characters long. It should use flag if invalid function to mark the field as valid or not, and then return true or false depending on if the validation requirements are met or not. So here we have to work on this validate card holder name. I just grab the field corresponding to it, which is the first input within the data CC info. Then this is not useful anymore. I just have to check if this validate this format. So here also I use a regular expression, and here also I want to provide you some important advice. It is in case like this that you have to really take advantage of the community. Me, when I was in this function, my first idea was to split the value provided and to check if each value in the array names is 3 characters long at least. But when I did that, Grad just refused my proposition, saying to me that I am not correctly validating card holder name. When Grad just refused my proposition that I was absolutely sure it is correct, I just go into Slack and ask for help. I meet this guy Banky, and he just helped me. I show him my code, and he just explained to me that my code is false because it is not supposed to allow numbers, only letters. It is not only the length that matters. So when he said that to me, I understood why my code was false, because I was just checking if each part of the values in this field are 3 characters long as least, but it is not the only condition. Name and surname must be only letters. They are not supposed to allow numbers. So when he explained it to me, he said to me that he used regex here also. So I just grab his regex expression and I use it. But before to do that, I just take some time to understand what it is about. So I just take time to read this regular expression and to get what it is all about. When I finally understood what it is all about, I just use it and go forward. With this, we are finished with step 1. Here we are at step 2. Create validate card number and validate payment function above the UI can interact. So you just have to see where you create your UI can interact, and just above create these two functions without parameters. In if validate payment, call validate card number, validate card holder name, and validate card expiry date function in that order. So here is my UI can interact. I just create the two functions, and within validate payment I just make the 3 calls as it was asked to me: validate card number, validate card holder name, and validate card expiry date. After that, create a smart input function with event and field index as parameters. If you already create a accept card numbers function, rename it to smart input. So when I came here, I just asked to myself, why are they saying that if you already create a accept card numbers function, rename it smart input? I know that I never create this accept card numbers function. So I say to myself, maybe they want us to use some kind of JavaScript built-in function to rename a function. So I just go on Google and search about how to rename a function, and I found a function called object.property that can do this job. So I just use it and it make the job for me, as you can see just here. But after this step, when I went on phase 4, I saw that this will not work anymore. So I just have to move backward and create the both functions: accept card numbers and smart input. Then in the UI can interact function, give input focus to the credit card number input field. Then give input focus to the first credit card input field. Then set validate payment as the click event listener for the data pay button. Finally, end the UI can interact function for now by calling the bill heap function. So I just go into my UI can interact function and grab this first input from data digits div and give it focus. Then I just add a event listener click to the data pay button with validate payment as the function corresponding to in. Then bill heap calls, and this was all for this step. I hope you enjoy this and you learn a lot from it. I really encourage you to ask questions in the comment section if you have ones, because as you know, I am very new on this kind of making tutorials video, so I don't really know what is very important or what is not, where I should emphasize or where I should not, where what is the what was very hard for many of you and what was easy. So it is hard for me to know how to explain more, or so just ask me question so that I can just provide you more answer or more precise solution for the problems you face. So see you on the next video for the last part and also the most difficult of this challenge. Bye.